Why do you think so many fathers have poor relationships with their children?
That's a good question. The big thing is because it's not instinctive for us to be parents. Again, we're the hunter and gatherer. They've changed the role of the male, or the role of the male's evolved to this position, which our instincts never had. So I don't think fathers are probably as good as they could be, me included, because it doesn't come naturally to us. We've got to actually learn about it, but because we don't really talk amongst our mates nitty-gritty wise, we don't get it as much as we should. I hope that changes. Look, my father's era, your father's era, the same. That was back in the day when they used to use that line, back in the day when men were men and women were glad we were. That's garbage. That stuff's gone. That's old school, old male, doesn't work. My father's generation, I think I know about 2 or 3 of the greater group of friends that are still in a loving relationship. Everyone else is divorced, so I don't think that was right. In fact, it was not right. It didn't work. Make sure you communicate with your peer group, your parents and your partner how to be the best possible dad you can. My dad's a man's man, that old-fashioned bloke. He could play sport with the best of them, he could drink with the best of them. He worked his tail off, 2, 3 jobs to make ends meet. He was that old school bloke that thought he was doing everything right for the family. But ultimately that was the wrong way, because he wasn't being a present father. He was being a present man, but he wasn't being a present father. My dad was my hero growing up. He was great at sport. He was, the life of the party, phenomenal drinker. He used to tell me the same story over and over and over, and the story got better and better and better, and I'd then tell that story. But the more I've grown up, the more I realised how much his peer group never really got it. They lost what it was really all about, and now there's a lot of lonely blokes, a lot of blokes on Struggle Street, and Dad's in that environment. And I'd love to go back to the day when he was telling me all those stories and go, mate, you got it wrong. Actually, don't tell me stories about your days with your mates. Tell me stories about us as a family and hanging out together. Tell us about our home life, how good it is, the fact that we would go and play and do all this stuff together. It's quite funny. I think my dad now, at the age of 65 to 70, is actually starting to realise the mistakes he made back then. And I don't want to make those same mistakes. I've pretty much looked at my father and gone, okay, well, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah. It's massive. It's a big thing to see for you.
And it's tough
because
you don't want to think any less of your dad, because he did the best he bloody could, and he thought he was doing it the right way because that's the way they did it. And then it didn't work out, and he's like, well, hang on a tick, what's happened here? I've worked my tail off. He's put us through private school. He's gone to make the best of everything. They had it tough back then as well. It's not like they had it easy. It's just that it wasn't the best way. And, you want to say, mate, thanks, you did a great job for everything you thought you were doing, but it wasn't the right way. And I think Gabe's going to do the same thing. He's going to be my age, become a new dad, and he's going to look at me and go, mate, what were you thinking? Why did you do that? And I think every generation, while you're learning off the one before you, you're actually bettering what the generations before you did. You're trying to evolve, right? That's the whole nature of humankind. And I'm not saying that we're going to be perfect. We're far from it. Look, we've already talked about all the balance issues we've got, and too busy and too chaotic or whatever. I would hope that I do make less mistakes than my father, because I don't want to make those mistakes. It doesn't ultimately work, but I know I'm going to make mistakes. If you don't talk about it as a father, you're sticking your head in the sand.
Yes.
All you're doing is continuing on the mistakes that the generation before you made.
Completely.
If you're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
If you don't own up to your own shortcomings and lack of understanding, you're just being ignorant. You're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes.
So, if you want to harden up, aim up in this respect. Yeah. Harden up by softening up, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's better for you. You'll be a better man and a better husband and a better father because of it.
Yeah, I often think, a lot of blokes, well, have in your mind, I'd do anything for my kids. I'd take a bullet. If they were getting attacked by a shark, I'd dive in there and do it. But they're too, you're too scared to go and say to a mate, you know what, I'm fucking stressed here. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling the pressure. You can't, that simple act of opening up is more terrifying than...
Correct. You want to do something for your kid, save his life. Don't jump in front of a bullet.
Yeah.
Do the right things at home.
Yeah.
Give the kid the tools at home by being a better dad, better husband, better father, by doing the right things at home. That's taking the bullet. That's bashing a shark away from your son more than actually doing those physical acts, because 9 million times out of 10 million times, we're not going to be doing that
Yeah.
in real life.